The Nationals split the doubleheader against the Cleveland Guardians. Game 1. What a game. But also, let's just talk about this. There are some issues with the Washington Nationals, and it's the same one.
You are Locked On Nationals, your daily Washington Nationals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. Locked On Nationals is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it is your team every single day. And of course, I am your host, Ryan Clary. You can catch me over on Twitter at Ryan Clary, as well as our show page at LO_Nationals. For all your latest Nationals news and notes, check us out over on Twitter. And of course, look up Locked On Nationals wherever you get your podcasts. Later on in today's program, Game 3 of the Guardians-Nats series. Michael Soroka makes his return. What are some expectations down the road? This is his second start as a Washington National and his first start at home for your Nats. So we'll discuss that later on in the program today. But I want to start off with today's show discussing the Nationals bullpen. And before we jump into the bullpen, though, I want to talk about some positive because, yes, at times we can be a little bit negative here. The reason why that is, though, is because we have expectations. And this Nationals team right now, and particularly this bullpen, they're not living up to them. And that's just unacceptable at this point. So before we jump into that, because, again, the bullpen is just a complete mess. What is the fix, and is there even a fix? I'll try to explain a fix later on in this segment. But let's start off on a good note. Game 1 of yesterday's ball game, if you went to the game, if you were the few people that were at that game for a 3:35 start on a Tuesday, and also when the Caps were playing in the Stanley Cup playoffs last night at home, kudos to you. You saw a hell of a ball game. It starts off early on with the Washington Nationals dropping a run in that first inning, and then they tie it up. And then in the third inning, you have James Wood come up to the plate, and he hits an absolute laser out of the ballpark. And that is when the Nationals kind of took that commanding lead, and we're all thinking, maybe the Nationals have found something here. Maybe we can hold on to this lead, because Jake Irvin, while he did not have his best stuff yesterday, he was not bad. His ERA is back down into the threes, which we all love to see because Jake Irvin is a reliable piece for this Nationals team. And I think he has pitched better than what some of the numbers have indicated so far this season. But you got what you paid for in yesterday's ball game. Dylan Cruz coming up in a big, crucial moment later on in the game after the Nationals, just be honest here, completely blew a lead. They were up 6-2 in that seventh inning. Well, they gave up 6 runs in that seventh. And it was just a terrible showing for the Washington Nationals. What happened in that sixth inning? The Nationals bullpen happened. When you have a bullpen that is this bad right now, you cannot go into any series confidently. You cannot go to anyone in this bullpen right now and say, this guy is going to get the job done. We can talk about Kyle Finnegan. Finnegan has been good, but we know he has some limitations. He's not going to be a closer for a postseason team. That's not going to be his role. Finnegan is a great arm for what we have right now. He is our most reliable bullpen piece. Him and Jackson Rutledge, those are the two guys at this point that I can really rely on. But going into this season, I thought Jose Ferrer was going to be an all-star caliber type of bullpen piece. And I still think he can be that right now. But what we have seen from this Nationals lefty is organizational malpractice. I might be throwing around that term a little too loosely at this point, but there is clearly something wrong. I don't really think it's something wrong with Ferrer. I don't know if it's the way that they use him. But this guy is so talented. Seriously, his stuff is the best that the Nationals have at this point, as far as their bullpen guys go. He is nasty out there. He has the potential to be a closer for any team out there. That's how good Jose Ferrer is. How have the Nationals not gotten the most out of him at this point in time? What has gone wrong with Jose Ferrer? Because look at these numbers. And this is really just one stat to kind of put it into perspective. In 19 innings pitched so far this season, Jose Ferrer has given up 27 hits. For reference, Mackenzie Gore has given up 40 hits in 46 innings pitched. In half the innings, he has nearly given up as many hits as Mackenzie Gore. Something is wrong with this development staff at this point. Something is just not right. And we also go to a Lucas Sims, who, by the way, is coming off another pretty much disaster last night in Game 2 of the series. What has gone wrong with this bullpen? I was talking to my guy Grant the other day. I work for the Grant and Danny show, and he said a line that I think was great. He was like, this is a 79-win team with a 55-win bullpen. And it's so true. This Nationals bullpen, and the way that it is right now, it is the worst bullpen I have ever seen for the Washington Nationals. And that says a lot, by the way. The 2019 bullpen was horrific. They still somehow, some way won the World Series. You had Sean Doolittle, Daniel Hudson, and a mix-in of Tanner Rainey and Patrick Corbin coming out of the bullpen in October there. Those guys, they did their job. Outside of that, no one else did. The Nationals don't even really have a few of those guys that they can rely on at this point. We talk about Finnegan, but when it comes to October baseball, do I trust Kyle Finnegan in a closing situation? I've said it. I don't think so. When it comes to Jackson Rutledge, he has been on a great run these last few weeks. He has been a reliable bullpen arm. Do I trust in him in October at this point? No. Now, I know that our vision is not really on October, but it should be, and it could be, if the Nationals went in this past offseason and spent the real money to improve this bullpen. But since we did not, this is what we have to live with. Andrew Chafin has come in. He's looking pretty good so far. He's ramping up as the season is going on. So we'll see if he can provide a nice little boost for this bullpen. But as far as in-house options go, the Nationals are pretty limited. You saw yesterday the 27th man was Zach Brixey. Zach Brixey is someone I really like. He's missed some time over the last few years, some injuries. But Brixey does have potential to be a solid bullpen piece. And also a guy that maybe we don't talk about all too much, but he was just promoted to AAA Rochester just last week. Marquise Grissom Jr. He has a great changeup and has a mid-90s fastball that has some success down in the minors. And also, David Martinez, after Brad Lord made another pretty nice start yesterday or just a few days ago. Brad Lord, he is now going to be in the back end of this bullpen. Even though I don't necessarily agree with that at this point, I think Brad Lord could and should be a starter. But he's going to be in the bullpen, and he's certainly a good arm that's going to help. And so right now we're waiting on a corresponding move because Soroka is being activated off the IL today. And at this point, we don't know what the next move is going to be. In fact, it actually just came out as I'm doing this live, so we can react to it right now. Michael Soroka is back today from the IL, and they have optioned Eduardo Salazer down to AAA Rochester. This is the right move. This is the absolute right move because Salazar does have that option, and you can now keep Lucas Sims if you still believe in his stuff, even though I did think there was a chance that Lucas Sims got DFA'd. So this is interesting, a very intriguing move. The Nationals did not move off of anybody. They instead optioned Salazar, who did look really good early on this season and also at portions of September and last season also. But the Nationals have made their decision. They're sticking with Lucas Sims. Let's react to that after we tell you about some of our very good friends over at Wonderful Pistachio. And of course, I have told you all about my favorite snack. But you're looking for a snack that's delicious and nutritious, crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. And Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller for longer. And personally, I love the no shells variety just because it's a quick grab and go snack. I can eat it in the car. I can eat it at the desk. I can eat it wherever I want to. Even right after this, I'll go grab my Wonderful Pistachios, grab a handful of those, be right in my hand. The saltiness of it, it's so good, and a complete protein providing all 9 essential amino acids. It makes me feel healthy, and it is healthy. So get snacking and get cracking, the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. Again, visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. So as we record this show live, we have found out that the Nationals have optioned Salazer down to AAA Rochester. And Eduardo Salazer on the season was, again, earlier on this year when the Nationals still had a bad bullpen. That has not changed. He was one of the reliable guys. So to kind of see him fall off here as of recent, it's a shame because I thought he could be something for this team. But I do want to get into this with just overall where this bullpen is today, just to kind of give you an image of how bad this is. Right now, the Nationals bullpen rankings they are dead last in baseball with their ERA at a 7.16. The Angels are in second to last and actually just flip-flopped from yesterday. The Nationals were not last in this statistic up until yesterday, but now they are. They are also tied for last with the Angels for WHIP. Their WHIP sits at a 1.72 on this season. They are third in Major League Baseball in walks. This bullpen right now, even with a good starting rotation, it's not the best starting rotation, but this is a solid, I think right now, the way that they have performed, an above average starting rotation in baseball. This is a good rotation. I'll even say that. They have outperformed themselves. Not many people expect them to be pretty good, but they have been solid so far. But the way that this bullpen has been, it has costed them multiple games at this point. The blown saves are adding up. The walks are adding up. And when you know, because here's the thing, they think just like we do. They know they have a bad bullpen. When you take out Jake Irvin after going 5 1/3 inning, when you take out Mackenzie Gore after going 7 innings of 1 earned baseball, then you have to turn it over to the bullpen and get 2 innings and 6 outs, and maybe even more if you go to extras. They're human. They know what's coming. Everyone knows what's coming. It's just a bad product at this point. And I don't really think there is an in-house fix that's going to make this team a good bullpen. There's nothing at this point that can make this a good bullpen, unless there's some drastic turnaround that we see from the development here. And you see Jose Ferrer completely flip the script, which I think he can do. You see Jorge Lopez come in and buckle up and be a good reliever, which I think he actually has been pretty solid so far. Lucas Sims, a guy that a lot of people were excited about because we all saw the Twitter videos of Pitching Ninja talking about how nasty Lucas Sims is. He's nasty, but guys are getting good contact off him. So far, kind of what people raved about was his sweeper and how nasty it was and how the horizontal movement was just simply disgusting. Well, teams are slugging against his sweeper at a 500 clip right now and a 533 clip off his fastball. And his sweeper, he throws nearly 50% of the time. And his fastball, he throws around 40% of the time. There is no fix at this point. There is none. You are going to have to sleep in this bed that the Nationals made. And it's unfortunate because, again, this team does have potential. But this bullpen has completely held us back at this point. And it's frustrating. It just is. So, with that in mind, let's talk about Soroka real quick, because Soroka makes his return today, and he is someone that maybe could be in the Nationals bullpen come sometime this summer if he does not succeed. But he's going to be a starter. He was promised to be a starter for the Nationals, so we're going to treat him as such for now. But Michael Soroka, after having that weird arm issue in his first start against the Toronto Blue Jays, at first, I think we all thought the worst because Soroka, unfortunately, has really struggled with injuries these past few seasons, has not been able to stay healthy, has had multiple surgeries on his Achilles tendon, and it just has not been a good go for it overall. He's only pitched in 32 games since 2020. Or I guess 33 if you count this year also, but he only lasted 5 innings, gave up 5 hits, did allow that big home run there in Toronto. But Soroka is going to be an interesting character to watch, I think, because we all know, being in the NL East, when he was great, he was awesome for the Atlanta Braves. In 2019, starting in 29 games, he had a 111 whip on the year. He had 174 innings pitched, 153 hits given up, and in that time frame, gave up 14 home runs in 29 starts. That's pretty good numbers overall. And he was a Cy Young candidate, and everyone thought that he was going to be the future of the Braves pitching staff. Fast forward a couple years, he's injured all the time, has those Achilles issues, goes to the White Sox in 2024, does not pitch too well as a starter, but then really gets it together as a reliever. And that's when he put together his best stuff out of the bullpen with the White Sox last year. But again, he's going to be a starter. What can you expect? I expect a better version of Michael Soroka from 2024. And again, Soroka, as a starter, he nearly had a 7 ERA last year. It was not good. It was not impressive. Not a lot of people were all too thrilled with the move that the Nationals made. But for a rebuilding ball club that is close to contention, I do understand why the Nationals are kicking the tires on this. And I do think Soroka, while I don't think he's going to be in the Cy Young contention, I don't think anybody expects that. But I do think he can be a solid starter yet again. He's going to have to find his command. He's going to have to pound the zone, and he's going to have to get some swings and misses. That's what he's going to have to do. That's something that he did not do as a starter last year at the White Sox. He was giving up home runs. He was walking a lot of guys, and he's never been a strikeout overall guy, but he's going to have to figure out to maneuver and get rid of some of the hard ground balls that he has given up over these past few years. But as of right now with Soroka, I like where he stands. And I've gone on to say, like, really after Brad Lord's start the other night, I think Brad Lord should be someone that could be in the equation for the Washington Nationals. And I want to see Brad Lord play as much as possible, but unfortunately for the Nats, and just kind of where we are now, you have to think to yourself, like, he just went 6 innings yesterday, gave up 3 earned runs against the Guardians, but right now, they're going to go with Soroka, and Brad Lord's going to the bullpen. That's really my only issue, because I would have liked to see Lord out there every 5 days starting. But one thing I am glad about is that he is not going to AAA Rochester. Brad Lord is a big leaguer, so maybe he'll come out of the bullpen and he'll help this team. But Lord has showed a lot, and that's kind of been the drama, and that's kind of been who's going to be starting, Brad Lord or Michael Soroka. And Dave Martinez is going back to the well with Michael Soroka. So maybe he does well today against the Cleveland Guardians, and that'll be that. But we'll see what Soroka does. Let's preview that game. But of course, before that, got to tell you about our friends at Supply House. Get the supplies that you need from the site made for the skilled trades, Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is a reliable way to order products on the line. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400 plus top brands, you'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. From all my blue collar needs, I go to supplyhouse.com because they offer expert support and industry leading service. So you'll always talk to a real person. And for trade pros looking for an extra edge, their free Trade Master program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. So join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. And again, use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. Thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. So the Nationals, they get ready today, going up against left-handed pitcher Logan Allen, a second-round pick back in 2020 for the Cleveland Guardians. Has had some success. Last year kind of fell off a little bit, but this year has been up and down, has put up some good numbers overall. They 4.02 ERA in just 6 starts, 31 and a third innings pitched, 22 strikeouts, and a 1.53 whip on this season. Looking at it at a deeper angle, though, the Nationals, they are going to have to pound on this guy early. The Guardians do have a solid bullpen overall, but as I've mentioned, this team is scrappy just like the Nationals are. They can put up runs. And as we saw yesterday, they can put up runs quick. While, yes, it's easy to blame the bullpen yesterday, in which I did. They got their humble tea, whatever you want to call it. But this Cleveland Guardians offense is a really good one. And even with the Nationals bullpen being where it is now, I don't have to explain it even more. You all know it. But with an offense like with guys like Jose Ramirez and with Steven Kwan, who's a really underrated player in today's game. And also you have another guy in this equation, Kyle Manzardo, a young piece for the Cleveland Guardians, a former second-round pick from Tampa Bay. This offense can get up, and they can get up real quick. This is not a team that's going to shy away. I love watching the Cleveland Guardians. I'll just add that right now. They are a fun, young, scrappy team with good pitching and overall just a very well-run organization. But with today's game, going up against Logan Allen, I always try to look for the edge. Like, who has faced who? Who has gone up and competed against Logan Allen before? And when you're playing a team in the AL Central, typically you don't really have many guys. And the Nationals, they've got one person, and he's not very popular right now, Josh Bell. He has 5 at-bats against Logan Allen, and with that in mind, he's got 1 home run. That's his only hit in 5 at-bats, but it was a home run, I may add, so that's pretty good to see there. But right now, with the Nationals, here's my keys to the game. Have Soroka go 5 innings, see what he can do, keep it to 3 earned or less. I'll be happy with that because Soroka's going to have to get adjusted here. He's going to have to figure out what the mound is like at Nationals Park. And he's made plenty of starts over the years at Nationals Park, so he should have a good idea of what it's like pitching on that rubber. But keep Soroka to 5 innings, probably no more than that, and that'll be just fine. The bullpen, just give up 2 runs. That's it. Keep it to 5 runs in total for the Guardians. That'll be fine. If we can do that, then the Nationals, maybe, just maybe, they have a chance. But not going to lie, I'm beaten up from the Nats right now. And they had a great winning game 1 with Jose Tena going up against his former team, getting that game-winning hit. Dylan Cruz coming in, tying the game in a big situation after really not doing too much the last week here. But where the Nationals are, we're going to have to start seeing results. And that result is hopefully a win that starts today. Because again, the Nationals, they're still somehow, some way, not that far behind in the wild card race at this point. They're 17-20 on the season. Let's make it 18-20, and you have a day off tomorrow. And then on Friday, you have the St. Louis Cardinals coming to town, and they're pretty bad. They're 18-19 on the year, but still, they should be better than what the record indicates. So thank you all for making Locked On Nats your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. So Eduardo Salazer has been optioned to AAA Rochester, and Soroka has been activated off the IL today. We'll see what the Nationals can do. Hopefully the bullpen stays together. Let's get a Nationals win and then a series win. I'll catch you on the flip side. Have a good one. Go Nats.